We live in a world where 2.4 billion people globally still lack access to basic sanitation. Of them, 946 million defecate in the open. Almost all in developing countries and predominantly in rural environments. Access to toilets is sharply skewed, with the lowest income quintiles having by far the least access and the least improvement over recent decades. Here is the story of one such individual who fought the norms of society and peer pressure to emerge as a beacon for community-led activation of open defecation-free environment in her surroundings.
আমাদের এখানে সরকার থেকে কল্যাণীতে অনেক জায়গায় পায়খানা সরকারিভাবে দেওয়া হয়েছিল, কিন্তু অনেকেই ব্যবহার করেন। তা এই কমলকর উনি হঠাৎ একদিন আমাদের এখানে এসেছিল, বলল, আমাদের কয়েকজনকে ডেকে বলল যে শুনলাম যে এরকম পায়খানা টায়খানা করা হয়েছে, সরকার থেকে দেওয়া হয়েছে, সেই পায়খানাগুলো আপনারা কী করছেন? তা যাদের দেওয়া হয়েছিল অঞ্চল টঞ্চল দিয়ে আর কি, কল্যাণীর মধ্যেই অঞ্চল টঞ্চল দিয়েই দিয়েছিল, পঞ্চায়েতের মধ্যে। তা সেইগুলো ওদের বললাম যে এগুলো ওরা ব্যবহার করে না, ওরা হাঁস মুরগি তারপর এই সমস্ত রাখে, খড়ি টড়ি রাখে, মানে জ্বালানি এগুলো রাখে, ওগুলো অনেকেই ব্যবহার করে না। তারপর হচ্ছে আপনাদের কি অবস্থায় আছেন? তা আমরা আমাদের এইখানে বিদ্যাসাগর কলোনিতে কোনো পায়খানাই নেই কারোর বাড়িতে, আমরা মাঠে ঘাটেই যাই, মাঠে ঘাটে আমাদের পায়খানা বাথরুম সবই মাঠে ঘাটে যেতে হয়, আমরা সেইভাবে যাই। তা বলছে যে জানেন তো এরকম একটা পরিকল্পনা করা যায়, খুব সীমিত খরচার মধ্যে আপনাদের পায়খানা বাথরুম কমপ্লিট হতে পারে, আপনারা খুব বিজ্ঞানসম্মত পায়খানা পাবেন, আপনাদের খুব উপকার হবে তাতে। আপনি বলেন আমাদের সেটা কিভাবে করা যায়? তা উনি বললেন যে এইভাবে করা যায়, যদি পারেন আপনারা এভাবে করে নেবেন, দেখবেন আপনারা রোগ মুক্ত হবেন।
But she is not alone. India, where half the population still defecates in the open. Lack of basic sanitation is a major killer, as diarrhea kills more than AIDS, malaria and tuberculosis combined, killing around 2.2 million people each year. Diarrhea is so dangerous, it takes the lives of around 2,195 children every single day. 7 out of 10 people are without improved sanitation. 9 out of 10 still practice open defecation. In Southeast Asia and Africa, diarrhea is responsible for 8.5% and 7.7% deaths respectively. India carries the burden for the highest number of diarrhea deaths in children. 1 in 4 children below 5 years have stunted growth. 50 million worldwide were wasted. 16 million severely wasted. Cholera, an acute diarrheal disease, kills within hours if left untreated. Researchers estimate that there are 1.4 to 4.3 million cases and 28,000 to 1,42,000 deaths worldwide due to cholera every year. Provision of safe drinking water and sanitation is critical to control cholera and other waterborne diseases. Though most countries achieved their MDG target on water, this has not been reflected in the MDG goal on access to sanitation. Provision of water without adequate access to sanitation hasn't shown much impact in the reduction of diarrheal deaths. Most of the world's population without access to adequate and safe sanitation live in Asia, Sub-Saharan Africa, Latin America and the Caribbean. South Asia, 953 million. Sub-Saharan Africa, 695 million. East Asia, 337 million. Southeast Asia, 176 million. Latin America and the Caribbean, 106 million. Among these, the countries with the highest number of people defecating in the open are India, Indonesia, China, Nigeria, and Pakistan. The global MDG target for sanitation has been missed by almost 700 million people, which is alarming. Even though the MDG on sanitation was missed, during this period, some countries did something truly remarkable. Community-led total sanitation, or CLTS, is an innovative methodology for mobilizing communities to completely eliminate open defecation, or OD, which is achieved through a process of collective local action stimulated by facilitators from within or outside the community. At the heart of CLTS lies the recognition that merely providing toilets does not guarantee their use, nor result in improved sanitation and hygiene. Earlier approaches to sanitation prescribed high initial standards and offered subsidies as an incentive. But this often led to uneven adoption, problems with long-term sustainability, and only partial use. The need for sanitation is urgent, and the costs of negligence are high.
CLTS, or community-led total sanitation approach, is radically different from the traditional approach to sanitation. In CLTS approach, there is no prescription or subsidy or free supply of toilet hardware materials to an individual household, and there is no punishment or pressure from outside, no motivation. It's entirely community-led. And in this approach, community conducts, they analyze their environmental sanitation situation, they take lessons out of that, and they understand that how it is damaging the health of all the members of the community, and they decide and they plan and they act to stop open defecation. And this approach, as it is entirely community-led, it focuses on collective behavior change rather than counting toilets in every household. This approach started in early 2000 in Bangladesh. This was innovated there in Bangladesh, and since then it has traveled more than 70 countries across Asia, Africa, and Latin America. More than 40 million people living in open defecation-free environment. And many of these places, diarrhea, cholera, typhoid, and many other enteric diseases stopped, vanished, and reduced to very, very minimum. So that's mainly because the community stops the fecal oral contamination, and that's the advantage, the beauty of the CLTS. And that's how it's entirely different. And more than 35 countries across the globe have institutionalized CLTS approach in their national sanitation policies. Somehow the story in India is not very encouraging, because in India, it's totally so far over the last 20-25 years, maybe more than that, it's the story of subsidy. And huge amount of subsidy has been given by the government of India, state governments, and different agencies all over. However, there are silver lining in the crowd, because some of the state governments have understood that the individual household subsidy, constructing toilets at the household level, is not going to serve the purpose. So they have taken this state policy, at the state policy level, they have decided that not to give subsidy to individual household level, but to focus more on collective behavior change. And Chhattisgarh is one of those. Earlier, the Himachal Pradesh, they did that, and they stopped individual household subsidy for 3.5 years, and they moved to 44% to more than 84%.
Let us have a look at what makes CLTS different. The dramatic difference in countries where CLTS is practiced, like Bangladesh, Nepal, Indonesia, Zambia, Madagascar, Mali, and Kenya, are through no upfront hardware subsidies but empowering communities, focus on collective behavior change rather than building toilets, counting open defecation free or ODF communities rather than counting toilets, bringing out the community and institutional role of creating an enabling environment.
It's not only that the highest number of open defecators live in India. The sad story that the country has made so much of progress, probably the third, fastest growing economies in this part of the world, the malnutrition, child mortality and stunting is alarming in the country. So that is why it is extremely important that by some way or the other, the largest number of population of open defecators in India must change their collective behavior. And how that is being done, it's not possible to do from outside, any pressure or any initiation from outside. What is possible is by themselves, but the community, once they understand that it's not good for us, and they could only stop it, as it has happened in all over the world, in other parts of the world. And this self-mobilization and understanding of the detrimental effects of open defecation is the answer to this. So now, moving from there, how India is moving, progressing, it is still, there is subsidy, but as I said, the focus is gradually shifting from constructing toilets, individual household latrines, to collective behavior change. It all depends that how fast it happens, and by changing the style and the modus operandi, India can achieve that one. And once that is achieved, it's a different country. It's a very powerful country.
কমলকর বলাতে আমরা কমিটি হলো, কমিটি হওয়ার পরে আমরা ম্যাপ করলাম CLTS এর মাধ্যমে, একদম সুন্দর করে ম্যাপ করলাম। ম্যাপ করে কোথায় জঙ্গল, কোথায় পায়খানা হয়, কোথায় পরিষ্কার থাকে, কার বাড়ি কীভাবে পায়খানা হয়, মাঠের মধ্যে পায়খানা হয়, কলা বাগানে পায়খানা হয়, এগুলো ম্যাপ করলাম। ম্যাপ করে কাগজ যার যার বাড়িতে মানে ছোট ছোট ঘর করলাম, ম্যাপের মধ্যে ছোট ছোট ঘর করে সেইখানে আমরা বাড়ির নাম দিয়ে দিয়ে আমরা সেইখানে ইয়ে করলাম, সেই ম্যাপটা মানে পুরো কমপ্লিট করলাম। করার পরে সেইভাবে সেই ম্যাপ ধরে ধরে আমরা কাজ শুরু করলাম, CLTS এর কাজ।
CLTS as a process is preceded by what is known as defecation mapping, where the community comes forward to mark out areas where they defecate and where they source their water from. This is a community-led activity where all the members participate actively.
আমাদের এখানে আগে খোলা জায়গায় পায়খানা করতাম আমরা, অনেকেই করতো, কিন্তু আমাদের এখানে এই CLTS ওরা এসে আমাদের পদ্ধতি দেখিয়েছে, এইভাবে করতে হবে, সেইভাবে আমরা করেছি। এখন আমাদের অনেক পরিবর্তন হয়েছে, কিন্তু এখন আগে যেরকম শরীর খারাপ হতো সবাই, এখন ওইটা এখন নেই। ছেলেমেয়েদের খুব অসুবিধা হতো, আর আমাদেরও রাত বেরোতে অসুবিধা হতো। ওই জিনিসটা এখন আমাদেরও খুব সুবিধা হয়েছে, বাড়িতে সবাই পায়খানা করে।
The global impact of CLTS is, I would say, quite extraordinary. Over 45 countries throughout the world are using one form of community-led total sanitation or another. Importantly, 30 of those countries have made, as part of their national policy, a behavior change approach, which means they're using different methods to try to bring about changes of behavior, ending open defecation, improving sanitation, of course, enhancing hygiene behaviors. What's important is that in many of those countries 20 years ago there was an infrastructure approach in which direct delivery and support of constructing toilets for households was the major policy. This has now been fundamentally changed by nearly every country in the world thanks to the movement of CLTS.
From a humble beginning in 2000, the community-led total sanitation approach has now spread to more than 65 countries in Asia, Africa and Latin America. The primary reason for its spontaneous spread is due to local empowerment, simplicity of the approach, and handing over the stick to the community to analyze, decide, and act urgently. 40 million people globally are living in open defecation-free environments as a result of CLTS. CLTS has grown so much in popularity that the national sanitation policy of nearly 35 countries have adopted CLTS.
CLTS was introduced in Kenya by Plan Kenya in May 2007. It was officially launched by the Ministry of Health in 2009. In 2010, the CLTS roadmap was developed. There is also the Kenya Environmental Sanitation and Hygiene Policy 2015 to 2030, which emphasizes on CLTS as an approach to eradicate open defecation. The county government of Kitui has adopted CLTS as a key strategy to attain environmental sanitation and hygiene. As a result, His Excellency Dr. Julius Malombe, the Governor of Kitui County, officially launched Open Defecation Free campaign on 3rd July 2014. The county government of Kitui has institutionalized CLTS through developing a county-level CLTS strategy which outlines key steps to attain ODF status by December 2016.
The SDG goal on water and sanitation hopes to achieve access to adequate and equitable sanitation and hygiene for all and end open defecation, paying special attention to the needs of women and girls and those in vulnerable situations by the year 2030.
মহিলাদের যখন শরীর খারাপ হতো তখন বাধ্য হয়ে রাত্রে আমাদের সেই মাঠে এসে জিনিসটাকে ধুয়ে সুন্দর করে পরিষ্কার করে নিয়ে তারপর আমাদের ঘরে যেতে হতো। এমন ব্যবস্থাও ছিল না যে আমরা বাড়িতেই ওটাকে পরিষ্কার করব। আমাদের ওই রাত্রে মাঠে আসতে হতো, মাঠে এসে আমাদের ওটা ধুতে হতো, পরিষ্কার করতে হতো। এমন এমন দিন আসতো এসেছিল আমাদের যে মেয়েদের দেখতে আসতো ওই পায়খানা বাথরুমের জন্য সম্বন্ধ ভেঙে যেত, সম্বন্ধটা হতো না।
CLTS 2005 সালে নাটক করে এখানে আমাদের এই কী বলে মাঠে সবাইকে দেখালো, সবাই বড় বাচ্চা সবাই মিলে দেখলাম, তারপর সবাই ভালো মন্দ সবাই বুঝতে পারলো যে খোলা জায়গায় পায়খানা করলে কি হয়, রোগ ব্যাধি নানা রকম জন্মায়। তারপরে আপাতত এখন সবার বাড়িতেই পায়খানা বাথরুম আছে। আগের মতন মানুষ অসুস্থ নেই, এখন সবাই সুস্থ, সবার বাড়িতে মোটামুটি যে যেভাবে পেরেছে পায়খানা বাথরুম সবাই করেছে।
Millennium Development Goal or MDG period ended in December 2015 last year. Most countries in Africa failed to achieve MDG sanitation goal, Goal 7. Some countries in Asia also failed, and India failed badly to achieve the MDG target. Now, in 2016, SDG of Sustainable Development Goal has begun, and it's talking about the dream in SDG is about an open defecation-free world. It's a great goal indeed, but by 2030, by the end of the SDG period, how the world is going to become free, from open defecation? That's a big question. Is that the same approach as we used over the last few decades? We're going to do that, or we're going to take advantage of the CLTS or community-led total sanitation? To me particularly, and to many of the development professionals across the globe, and those who have seen that it works, the answer lies in community-led total sanitation. But if we have to achieve that open defecation-free world by the end of 2030, then we have to have 4 or 5 or 6 open defecation-free nations in the next 4 or 5 years. There are many nations in Africa and in India and also in Asia trying to do that and achieve that, and hopefully they will be achieving. But strategies has to be made, institutions has to be triggered, institutional triggering has to happen, political will must be there to achieve that. Target has to be fixed up for each country, roadmap has to be prepared, and move on. It's possible. It's not impossible, though it is difficult, but it is possible.
To eliminate open defecation by 2030, one of the Sustainable Development Goals, the current rates of reduction will have to double, especially in South Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa.
Finally, to attain ODF status in a country or a county, everyone must be triggered, including the top leadership. In Kitui, we are all triggered. Thank you.
There are millions like her whose lives are waiting to be changed by community-led total sanitation. Can the nations make the right move now to fast-track an open defecation-free world?